Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In the latest build of Alpha, we have seen more changes to professions. Will they make so-called dead professions viable again? We shall see. Let's dive on in. Now, as I said in my little introduction there, are professions going to become viable again? Outside of alchemy, of course. Could they become useful again? Now, let's go crazy. Let's push the boat way out here. Could they be interesting again? I know. Let's back up. I've gone too far. I apologise. For a while now, professions have been there. Something you level at the start of an expansion. You collect your ores, you collect your herbs, whatever else it may be, because they now give good XP. And you, as you have them in your bag, level your professions. But as a way of getting gear, you gain gear way faster simply by leveling, with better item levels. Now, you may come back to your professions, you may look at them again partway through an expansion when there's been an update and new things have been added, but realistically at the moment you simply cap them because having 155 out of 175 triggers you. So how have Blizzard, in all of their infinite wisdom, made professions meaningful again? Well, in a pretty simple and ingenious way. They've added 3 innocent looking boxes, 3 innocent little slots to crafted gear. And given those professions not known for crafting gear, ways to interact with those slots that hopefully will make everything work together. To interact. We have hope, people. But let's take this one step at a time. Let's look at what the first box is going to give us. Now, it allows us to increase the item level of whatever our crafted item may be by up to 20 item levels. That's not to be sniffed at. Now, at present, this item that boosts the item level is created by inscription. Yes, panic not, you inscription workers. All of those guildies that laughed at you for having inscription and not alchemy, they're now going to be your best friends if you can give them some of these and boost their early gear. And I will say that early expansion, this may actually be one of the professions to look at on a side note for gold making, because these are going to be worth a fortune if you can get them on the market early enough. But more on that in the future. Now, straight away, there are 2 huge benefits to this. One is obviously keeping crafted gear relevant throughout the course of an expansion. Secondly is, are we potentially looking at a way of filling the holes in our loadouts that we have when we hit max level? I think most of us have been there when you've hit your fresh, newly done 120, and you can go around and do some world quests, and you can get your item level up, but yet still, you look at your character, trinkets and weapons are both way lower than anything else. This way, granted, the crafted gear may not be this, we don't know, but at least you won't have a 40 to 50 item level difference with the rest of your gear. You'll be able to fill these gaps using crafted items. Now, the second slot. The second one is the one that we all heard about, we all knew about, that was coming from BlizzCon. This is your stat selection box. It's allowing you to pick your secondary stat. It will be interesting to see if, say, professions that allow crafting of trinkets, and I'm looking at alchemy again for this one, will be allowed to put, say, an int gem into there so that they can have intelligence on their trinket rather than, say, haste or whatever else it may be. Or will trinkets just have eye level and, say, proc, and that's it. The secondary or the main stat of the trinket is going to be separate. We'll find out in due course. Either way, this is a very welcome addition to crafting, and on its own is what hooked me, what had me on these changes to crafting. Way back, as I say, at BlizzCon. Add the addition of the other 2 slots, and how potentially they're going to interact, how they're going to bring in all the different professions to interact with one another. I'm sold. Things are getting very spicy indeed, and I like it. Last, but by no means least, and I do mean this, the randomness procky thing. Yeah, okay, granted, that's not the best description I could have come up with. This one changes depending not only on the item being crafted, but also the item that is being slotted. An example, bonus damage against X race can be added to your gear from blacksmithing. Don't fancy that? How about elemental damage procs from engineering? Now, these are not exclusive to those particular professions. Bear in mind, this is Alpha B Alpha. So we only have a very limited pool to go from, but we do know that in the alpha there is also the elemental proc can come from tailoring. Now, will this mean that only crafted gear can have these procs? Can we stack these procs, kind of making far weaker versions of Azerite armor? We don't know, but again, this is interesting. This is, once again, spicy, and we like that. So far, these changes look promising, but here is the issue. There always has to be that point where you're like, yeah, but. And here is that moment. If you make crafted gear too strong, then why do I need to do any other content? Those of you as old as I am will remember crafted gear in TBC. It was crazy strong. You could pretty much use it all the way to Black Temple. I'm talking as a warlock here. Now, you may say, but people still did the content, Grim. Very true, but the world was very different back then. You had to progress. It's easy for me to say. You had to progress in the story because you needed to unlock that next bit of content. You couldn't do certain dungeons, you couldn't go to certain raids unless you had done previous content. The story unfolded in front of you like an RPG. And that style of play is gone. People don't need to do that. All you simply need to do is level up, max level, and everything is open to you. So with that in mind, if people don't need to do the content for their all-important power and item level to go up, that's a worry for Blizzard. Now granted, my example there is a little dramatic, but you can see what I mean. Another interesting thing will be is how are these crafted items going to work together? As I said, I reflected back on Azerite armor. Are we going to get cheesy combos that Blizzard weren't expecting? Are we going to have a world first race with everybody wearing weird crafted gear items with weird stats stacked? This crafted system is in its infancy. Okay, stacking X on gear, doing crazy things that Blizzard aren't expecting and breaking the raids. Not great, but I'm getting distracted once again, and I apologise for that. The alternate is a world where no matter what changes they make, the item level is still too low, the procs too weak, as to basically make this whole system pointless. Or the material requirement is just so high it's far easier for me to go elsewhere. It's going to be hard, without shadow of doubt, it's going to be hard for Blizzard to strike a balance with this crafting against everything else, all these other sources we now have in the world to get gear. Remember, back in the day it was harder, far harder to get gear. Crafting had a place. And it's a place it's going to struggle to re-find in modern WoW. And I hope it does. I hope it does. As I say, it's going to be... Blizzard are, of course, the masters of balancing things, so we have nothing at all to worry about. But regardless, it is a step in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to professions being just that. A profession again in WoW. Something I can spend time on, like all the other aspects, whether it be pet battling, raiding, M+. I want to do this and feel rewarded, either because I've spent time gathering these items and I've crafted the piece of gear that I really want, or as a source of making gold, that I am in this organic, breathing MMO, a simple vendor, a trader. I make these items and I sell them. From whatever profession I choose, because, and I hope, they're all viable in some way. Like all things in Shadowlands, the future is looking good. I have hope. But that is me done, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a good one.